Well, hey folks, this is Fat Guy Flies RC coming to you from the Man Cave Studios. Alrighty, Hobby King sent me out the Night Walrus, and it's a power glider that has LEDs. It lights up. It runs on a simple 3-cell, like a 1300 up to, I think maybe even up to a 2200. Let's get it out of the box and see. Well, it just comes in a plain, no special markings or anything. I did open it up just to make sure everything was in here, but I didn't take anything out of the box. Everything is protected in its own little individual baggie. There are no instructions, but it's a pretty simple, straightforward plain, and this is before they started using the quick setup guides. Everything has its own little individual baggies. The wings, LEDs, everything's installed for you. All your decals are installed for you. All you have to do is put on your control arms, glue them in. You screw them in both sides, the arm and the backing plate and the screws in between. That's kind of tedious. I'll do all that off camera, and that's where all this stuff is, all this bag here. And we got the few. There's one small wing spar, because your fuselage or your elevator comes as one piece already. So you will have some gluing involved. There's one small piece of wing spar. I'm not sure what that's for. But, all right. Let me get everything out of its individual bags, and we'll go over each of the parts. Alrighty, I'm back. All right. All the pieces, every piece has a light inside of it. You're going to be gluing on your vertical stabilizer or rudder. Has a little light LED that's inside of here. Your wings have an LED right there. That's the LED connection. You have LEDs inside the wings. You have flaps and ailerons. Very smooth foam. And the decals are already applied. Very high vis on both sides. So whether you're flying at dusk or light, you won't have any problem seeing the plane. Very nice. Very, very little decal. Little mistakes right there, but that's just a little bit of heat. We'll take care of that. I do like the fact this has a polyhedral in the end of the wing that makes it very, very stable, very beginner friendly. Almost gives it a self-righting characteristic. The elevator is one piece, has a carbon fiber that actually joins the entire control surface, and that has a carbon fiber actually inside of it also. So very strong. And all these hinges, even on the rudder, there are little embedded nylon hinges along with a foam pinch hinge also. I was looking really closely, like you had to really look close. There's one there, and one there. And I think there's, how many on each? On the flap there, looks like there's 3 on the flap and 3 on the ailerons. So that's nice. Now the other thing is the canopy itself also has an LED inside of it. Okay, and this little pigtail here, right here, this little JST connector, that's what's going to plug into a controller that you'll plug your lights into. And we're going to be gluing on our tail, our tire. There's your lights, hookup for your lights. Okay, you have plastic skid protection there, and this entire piece, all of this, is plastic here. Okay, nice folding prop. So while you're flying along, the force of your throttle will push your blades out, and it'll pull you along in tractor style. And then then when you stop, and you start gliding, the wind will push them back. So, well, I normally do. Spinner's already on there. I don't have a clue as to what the motor size is. The ESC looks to be, I'm going to guess, probably a 30 amp ESC. But like I said, it doesn't tell XT60 connector. Okay. Alrighty. I'm going to, off camera, I'm just a simple plane to assemble. So we're not going to sit through the entire assembly process, but I am going to show you something specific here in a second. What I'll be doing off camera when we come back, I'll be taking all of these control arms. Okay, they have the little backing plates and the control arm themselves, and I'll be screwing them in to each side of the control surface. Okay, that's tedious, long, boring work. And like here on the elevator, we're doing the same thing, putting the control arm there and the backing plate up here and screwing that on. Long, tedious. So I'm going to go ahead and get all that done, and then we'll come back and I'll do more about the build, and then we'll wrap it all up. Alrighty, we're back. I've got all the control surfaces put together, all the control arms put on. Let me show you real quick. Look on the back of the rudder here. So I got the control arm there, and that's the backing plate, and I got the screws. You'll get plenty of screws. This is the only one I didn't put all 4 screws in, but you have more than enough screws. So put all the control arms on all the control surfaces with the hole part that's got the holes going towards the inside the surface. So in other words, like on the elevator here, the holes here are going this way. Okay, on the wings here, going that way. But mainly what I want to show you is you have 1, 2, 3, 5 connection points for your LEDs. 1 for each wing, 1 for the canopy, and 1 for the rudder, and 1 for the elevator. I just got them all loosely connected right now because I want to show you how easy this is. They all hook up the same way. Okay, like here's the rudder, okay? So you can see how that end is, right? Okay, it guides in here. You can't, it has those little teeth on there. See the little sides right there, the sides of it? It just guides right in here. There's only one way, it only fits one way. Okay, you hook them up, you hook both your wings. You're going to do this, you're going to fish everything through side and come in the fuselage to hook it up. And then you have your one junction, and it just hooks directly to the ESC, to the JST connection on the ESC up here. Okay, and then it's this, I'll show you here a little more in a minute, but mainly I just wanted you, before you attach your wings and glue in your tails, you need to make sure all your LEDs work correctly. So I got some of the lights down in here. All the LEDs are hooked up exactly the same, you know, red to red, black to black. You can't hook it up wrong. And when you're put this together, you'll go, oh, okay, duh, I see it. It may seem confusing or intimidating because the instructions are not all that clear. It's actually very, very simple. Trust me, if that guy can figure it out, you can figure it out. And then you just plug your JST connector that comes off your ESC, and then plug it in. Okay? And you can see lights on your rudder, your elevator, both wings, inside the fuselage, and on the little canopy piece. Even the canopy glows. So now that you know that is done, now you can go ahead and put everything back together correctly. All right, we'll be right back with you. Well, hey folks, how y'all doing? This is Fat Guy Flies RC coming to you from the Fat Guy Flies RC studio. This is the Hobby King Walrus. Now, when I left off, I had all the Walrus all in pieces and not put together, and I showed you how to attach all the lights and make sure your lights were working correctly, because once you glue in the tail feathers, you're not going to be able to service those lights or change them out or whatever. Well, they all worked, as y'all saw. And I've got all the control surfaces all hooked up, and now I was able to go ahead and get the flaps taken care of. Now, I did have some issues with the servos. One servo arm was longer than the other, so it kept throwing off the trim, and that's why I took it out and I flew it. And I'm thinking, well, I'm not going to worry about this. I need to finish the flaps. And all I did was I just changed the servo out and changed the arm out. And now I just happen to have one that fits, so I didn't have to bother Hobby King about it. And so that may be all you have to do, or just change out the servos. Just it was very simple to do, but I got them working now. Okay, so I mean, you could have worked with what you had. It was a little bit off, and it has to be exact for me to be happy. Someone put the wrong servo arm on one of them, made it too long, so that's all that is. And I could have just changed the arm out if I found one, but I found a servo that matched the other servo, so I'm like, I'll just do that. So that was entirely on me. But you still could have done it fine, it just wouldn't have been exactly, just maybe a millimeter or two off. But that bothered me. So just be aware of that. Just look at the arm lengths of all your servos and make sure they match before you start hooking things up. Otherwise, you go into a frenzy of frustration like I did. That's why when I did the Maiden, I didn't do anything with flaps because flaps weren't right. Anyways, but now everything's right and everything's ready to go. And I did, like I mentioned in the Maiden, and I mentioned in the night watch, the night flight, which I'll have listed here soon, I went ahead, and because this plane is so light, it's a great performing plane, but it is so light that the wind was just absolutely having its way with it. But it still handled it just fine. You don't have to have a gyro, and it flew just fine. And had the wind been, under 15 miles an hour, then I probably would have had a better flight. But it was just crazy windy that day, like it seems like what I get. All right, anyways, let's go over the setup now that I've got it all done. Let's take a look at our throws. Okay, and I went ahead and did high rates and low rates and mid rates. This is my high rate.
Low rates.
Okay, I'm sorry, this is my low rates. And that is 70% on ailerons and 40% expo. 70% on elevator and 40% expo. And rudder, I did one rate, 100%, 40% expo. No other rates on the rudder, just that. On my elevator, on my aileron mid rates are 85 with 40% expo, and mid rates on elevator are 85 with 40% expo. And ailerons, high rates are 100% with 40% expo, elevator 100% with 40% expo. And that's the way I flew it in the Maiden in the night flight. All right, now this is the flap setting. I have not had a chance to go out to the field, and but I'm not feeling that well. And to be honest, I think I got something coming on, so I'm not really sure about it, but I'm not feeling that well, so it's going to maybe a while before I can I don't know if I caught something, but I'm starting to feel a cold coming on. But so I'm not going to make it out to the field to test these flaps, but this is what I've got, and this is what I typically use for flap settings with a plane of this configuration. Flaps up are 100%. Takeoff flaps are 50% with 11% down elevator on the elevator with a mix, flapped elevator mix.
Landing flaps.
And then landing will be 50% with a 22% down flap mix, flapped elevator mix. Now, like I say, I haven't tested that yet, but I'm going to have to see what's going on with this cold before I go out in the weather like that. So, alrighty, but timer set for 5 minutes. Now I flew it with a 1800 and a 1300, and was getting 5 minutes, if I remember right, out of both of them. Probably could have gotten longer out of the 1800. CG, I've got the 1300 turn G that they sent out with the plane in it now. And Hobby King, thank you for both the plane and the battery. CG is 71 millimeters back. I got some hot glue marks underneath there, and that puts it with that 1300 in there all the way forward, maybe favoring nose heavy, just barely favoring it, but that's fine with this type of configuration. So if you put a 2200 in, see there's that 1.3 in there. If you were to put a 2200 in there, then you wouldn't have any problem at all. And that is, the range is 1300 to 2200 anyways. Let's plug the lights in real quick just for giggles. I know you've seen it already, but it's so easy to do. Let me show you on the camera. Just remember your canopy is hooked up, okay? But all you do is you have this JST here, and then there's a light. It's not really a light controller, it's just a light connector. You take the other end and you just match it up, black to black, black to red, positive, negative. That's all you have to do. Okay, throttle cut is on. And you can see all them lights. Come on. As you'll see in the night flight that I've already done, very, very bright. Now both of them flights, unfortunately, it was just clear blue sky, so you really couldn't, not much background, much contrast. Let me turn some of these lights off. A little bit better idea of just how bright it is. Got lights everywhere here in the man cave, but really shines up really well. I really like that orange and that blue back there in the tail. So, well, there you go, folks. That's the Night Walrus by Hobby King. Sent out to me for review. It flies amazing. It obviously can handle the wind no problem. And it's just a very simple plane to fly. It's a lot of fun. I just can't wait to get it out and see how these flap settings are and give you another, maybe hopefully a better demonstration. But like I said, I got something going on with me right now and I'm not real sure about it. So I may have to take a little break. So, all right, well, God bless y'all. Y'all have a good one and we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.